of Lockdown Live with Urban Muslims and me, Hayan Baba. Today, we've got a very exciting episode for you today. We're talking about how to maintain your fitness, your health and well-being, and your general good health during both Ramadan and lockdown. We're joined by a really, really interesting panel of guests this evening. So we've got Dr. Rimla Akhtar, MBE. She's the Managing Director of Rim Gym Consulting and also a sports enthusiast and diversity consultant. She's on the board of the Rugby Football League and also an FA counsellor. She's joined by her brother Zishan Akhtar, who is the founder of Zama Fit, and we'll be learning about Zama Fit and their 30-night challenge. We're joined also by Tahir Ali, who is a master herbalist, iridologist, and naturopath. Sounds like an awesome title. To hear more about what that entails, we'll hear from Tahir later. We're also joined by Mr. and Mrs. Ghavani, so Ilyas Ghavani and Samina Ghavani. Ilyas is the owner of Gains with Gavinci. I said that right, I think, which is a fitness and personal health company. And Samina is a psychology graduate and a fitness enthusiast. And finally, we are joined all the way from Lebanon is Khulud Khalil, who is a chief nursing officer for a health startup in Lebanon called Find a Nurse. And she will be talking about how to manage your stress, anxiety, and mental health during these challenging times. So I'll do less talking because I think everybody else is far more interesting than me. I think we'll come to Rimla and Zishan first. Rimla, Zishan, welcome. Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Mubarak. Tell us more about Zama Fit and the campaign and the integration with Sport England. What are you guys doing this month?
Assalamu alaikum. So Zama Fit was something I put together just because of my passion for sport, and I enjoy helping people getting active, get fit, etc. And so the 30-night challenge was something we put together because the Muslim community is one of the least active communities as it is, and with the current lockdown in place, we just thought what great time to get the Muslim community active, to have a little bit of fun. And the beauty of the 30-night challenges is something that you can do in your own home. So it's in the safety of your own home. You don't have to go outside, and it's accessible to everyone. It doesn't matter if you're an experienced trainer or you're a beginner or have never trained in your life. There's something in this 30-night challenge for everyone. That's the beauty of it. So you can get your children involved. You as a parent can get involved. You can even get your grandparents involved as well. There's different levels of each exercise that I go through. So,
I mean, we were just up until Ramadan. So Sport England have this campaign. As Hayan, you've just said there, I work a lot in the sports industry, and I was speaking to Sport England about their campaign, which some might have heard of, some might not have heard of, called Stay In Work Out. So it's a campaign that they started as a result of the lockdown to get people moving. So obviously as an organisation, they want to make sure that they're achieving their targets of keeping us active and moving. So that was the campaign they started. But I mean, the feedback I gave to them was I just felt that it wasn't really reaching all audiences. And I felt like, it didn't really speak to our community. So we needed to do something which was, more appealing for us. And we just thought Ramadan is a perfect time for some maybe not, to get moving. But what a better way to, it's all about positive habits, building habits for the rest of the year and training your body and training your mind and your soul. And so what a better time to start this. So it is a 30-night challenge. So we wanted everyone to ideally start at the start. But even if you're just hearing about it now, we want you to join, even if it's for the last 10 nights or the last 15 nights. We want people to just get moving and create that positive habit for life.
Yeah, no, that's really, really great. And talking about fitness, because I know that we've got Ilyas and Samina, who are both fitness enthusiasts as well. I wanted to bring you both in very quickly, and we'll talk more about Zama Fit and how people can get involved in Zama Fit. But what about when people say, and this is an excuse that even I use, I don't have enough time. I can't find the time of the day, or I'm too tired. What would you say to those kind of people?
So, I live by a famous quote that I'm sure many of us have heard, is that excuses are for the weak. So what I tell people is that excuses are just a way to delay you achieving your goal. So if you know you want to get fit, you want to lose weight, whatever it is, you will do whatever it takes to achieve that. So you know that, look, I need to go to work. You will do anything to go and get to your work and work your hours. So likewise, if you have a goal to, whatever it may be, get fitter, gain muscle, whatever it is, if you really want it, time, kids, whatever it is never an excuse.
Yeah, that's great. And so you also do you do online classes or online live streams with games with your company?
Yeah, so you know what, it's actually been the blessing of lockdown that I expanded into this. So prior to lockdown, it was just at the gym, personal training or home services. And then with the lockdown, I had to pivot a little bit and say, you know what, how do I adapt? And alhamdulillah, we started online classes and it has been going really well.
So where do you hold your online classes? What do you do?
We do it on Zoom as well. So I do once a week with a group called Group Fit. I'm not sure if many of you have heard of it, but it's basically an organization which provide free online classes, ranging from personal training to mental health classes as well. So we have once a week on there. And then myself, people have one-to-one sessions with me.
That's great. And so, Ribla and Zishan, how would people join Zama Fit? Where would they find it? And what do they have to do? What time?
So we've got a YouTube channel. So if you search for Zama Fit, so it'll be ZAMMA space FIT. So every night at the moment we upload the night's challenge at 6 p.m. So it gets uploaded on there. There's a bit about me on there, a bit of an introduction, a bit more about the 30-night challenge. And tonight, I believe, is night 9.
Yeah.
So we're on a 9th night now, so it's flown by. So like my sister said, you don't have to join it from the start. You can join at any time. And the beauty about this challenge, and going back to the question you said in terms of not having enough time, the beauty about the 30-night challenge is it only starts with 10 minutes of exercise. Everybody can find 10 minutes.
No excuses, Hayan.
Everybody can find 10 minutes. And you know, the thing is, you don't have to train for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. It just takes a little bit of movement, a bit of daily activity, just to move the body. You know, the body was made to move, not to be still. So there's always you can always find 10, 15 minutes to do something. So that's the Zama Fit. So you can subscribe to our Zama Fit channel, and also we've got a Facebook group as well, again called Zama Fit. So yeah, just please have a look. And also every day at around 5:30, what I do is on Facebook, I pick out one exercise from the night's challenge and I go through the different variations. So it'll be a level 1, a level 2, and potentially a level 3 if there is a level 3 for the people that train a bit more regularly. So as I said earlier, it's very accessible for everyone.
Yeah. So no, that's really, really helpful. And actually, you're right. If it's just 10 minutes, I mean, 10 minutes is better than nothing, right?
Exactly.
I always find that I don't do any at all sometimes, and it's really bad. I don't know why I'm not doing that. But you know, it's a contrast to what I used to do. I was really, really active in the past. I think it'd be interesting to hear your views about nutrition and hydration, because I think, well, especially during Ramadan, that's an extra challenge. But of course, it might be different if we were in lockdown and it wasn't Ramadan. People could still get access to, you know, they could eat and drink and stay hydrated and fresh and all the rest of it. What are the particular challenges with staying energetic and hydrated during Ramadan, and what can people do to make it easier for themselves?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, I think, first of all, we're not nutritional experts, obviously, so just make sure that if you have any conditions that you're getting the right expert advice. But certainly based on what experts have told us, you know, I think all of us will know this anyway, you feel a sense of strength during Ramadan, physically, mentally as well, although you have your moments, you know, where it goes up and down. But you've got to listen to your body, you've got to listen to what you're able to do. So some people have also asked us when's the best time to do this challenge. And it really, again, it varies from person to person. We train quite regularly outside of Ramadan as well as when we're fasting. And so therefore for us, training before iftar is not a massive issue. So we train just before iftar so that we can then break our fast, have some water, rehydrate, etc. But if you're going to do that, it's really important that your suhoor meal is really good and that you've hydrated throughout that time from iftar to suhoor. Similarly, you know, if you want to wait till you've had a little light meal and then go and do the workout, then that works too. If you want to wait until, you know, the kids are asleep, if you have kids, or you've just got some headspace and you're ready to do this, then wait later on in the day. But just make sure that you're you're feeding good stuff to your body, so that you can actually do the workout. One of the tips we give is just make sure you've got a bowl of water between iftar and suhoor, so you're sipping away the whole time, just to keep rehydrated. So there are unique challenges, and I think it's all about fitting it to what your body responds best to.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's very helpful. And I think we'd all probably agree that, staying in good shape and staying active probably helps us to have a better outlook as well. It makes us feel better. It improves our psychology. And I'd like to come to Khulud now. Khulud, who's very kindly joined us all the way from Lebanon. So if anyone is also watching from Lebanon, marhaba.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. So Khulud, I think uniquely this Ramadan, obviously we're in lockdown. And so a lot of people might be feeling anxious as well, or they might be feeling some extra stress and worry given the negative news coverage or just being at home all day. What are ways in which people could manage their own anxiety and stress and improve their mental health?
Well, to begin with, before talking about the quarantine situation, Ramadan and fasting, we always say fasting is for the body, Ramadan is fasting for the body and food for the soul. So sometimes a lot of people can realize, can know from their own experience that on the couple of first days of Ramadan, we tend to get more snappy or a bit more irritable easily, because the emotional pain that we usually accumulate from year to year or on a long term tends to come out when we have to sit with our feelings, because we are no longer stuffing our faces with food just to be, distracted. So that's a challenge. And then the other challenge is that currently we're all sitting at home and we kind of are forced to keep distancing and stuff like that. The best practice to do, or the best practices to do during the lockdown and especially in Ramadan, is to look at this as a opportunity rather than like a more restrictive thing. We have the chance right now to process our feelings, to sit with them and process them. And in addition to that, we have the chance to gain closeness, or whatever you are intending to gain this Ramadan, you have more time to do it. It's definitely the regular stuff: eat well, drink lots of water, exercise. There's no excuse for not exercising, even if even if it's just your bedroom. 7 minutes are enough, 10 minutes as the ladies and the gents said. So you can do that. And these have a huge impact on your psyche. Also, some sort of relaxing music, classic music, dance classes. You can do that in your bedroom as well. These are very therapeutic and helpful practical things that can be done. Spending time with family helps as well. Picking out what type of news we want to listen to, and just filtering the negative or the fear-mongering ones, making sure that everything that we're reading is a proper resource, not just tabloid or just fear-mongering news, basically.
Yeah, no, I think it's I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I was going to say one of the things could be, as a coping mechanism, is to shut things out that might be causing light anxiety. Also, I think that it's also important, I think, that we need to remember to call people.
Yeah.
We may not know if somebody's feeling down or whatever, or might need some encouragement. And I think that also, I think it's really great that we're seeing a lot of active classes on social media, fitness classes like those that Zishan and Rimla are hosting, like those that Samina and Ilyas are hosting, because it gets people active, it gets people in front of a different social group.
Yeah, what's also very important to just to note, it's a process, and it's okay if we go up on days and feel down on others. It's the normal thing. We are not used to this type of lifestyle. We are trying to adjust and adapt as much as possible. So on the days where I feel like I can, let's say, I don't feel like I want to talk to others, or I feel uncomfortable, I can go for like a detoxifying mode where I just lay off social media for a bit, try to do something creative, write, draw, do exercises on my own exercises at home. The other days where I feel a bit more like I want to connect, I Zoom with friends. I have I don't know, like for me, I have like my friend is he lives alone, so sometimes we have sahur on Zoom.
Yeah.
We have iftar on Zoom because he's alone and he's social distancing on his own, and it's really uncomfortable if you're not used to it to just have food on your own. So we do that, and yeah, I connect with friends from from abroad. I connect with friends from Lebanon on social media, and that's very helpful because as much as it's helping you, some people actually need it the most because they're alone or because they feel like it can get really claustrophobic when you're alone at home.
That's true, and I think people forget there's so much positivity we can get out of using social media, whether it's finding classes or connecting with people or just reconnecting with people.
Yeah, I mean, it's so beautiful, all of these amazing people who are just giving it for free. It's just so selfless, and I mean, I know how much work it takes in preparation, so it's quite amazing. And you can always just try something different. I mean, if you've never done yoga, you can just find someone who's doing yoga classes for free and then you do it. Or if you're interested in learning a new type of, I don't know, martial arts or Zumba or whatever, you can just find a free class. That's so cool. It's such an amazing thing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Alhamdulillah. I'm going to come on to talk about our general health as well. We'll come back to some of these topics as well with all of you. I want to introduce Tahir because we haven't heard from you yet. Tahir, assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Mubarak.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. Wa alaikum Ramadan Mubarak to you and everyone else.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, very well, thank you. Yourself?
Good, very good, thank you. So why don't you tell us about what you do? I mean, I said earlier, you've got an awesome job title. What does that do? What do you do and what does that mean?
Okay, so basically the iridology part is where you look into the eyes, the iris and the pupil, and you can diagnose conditions within the body. So that's the first part. So that's the main diagnostic tool that I use. I treat patients with a mixture of herbal medicine, Western, Chinese, Ayurvedic, and Islamic medicine. And I use naturopathy, which is basically diet, nutrition, detoxification, and various other ways of putting the body back into balance. Meditation, all kinds of things of that nature.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a silly question. Is it enough for me to have one glass of orange juice every day?
One glass of orange juice a day. To be very honest, I wouldn't drink any juices because generally it's high in sugar and low in things that are good for you. So I would eat the fruit itself.
Okay, and then
drink water.
What? Okay, so
hydrated, like they say.
Yeah, no, that's. I'm glad that you said that because my wife and I were discussing that the other day. Actually, I was really shocked to find that orange juice or any fruit juice is higher in sugar content in juice form than it is if you eat it as a fruit.
Exactly.
I learned that yesterday, which is amazing. So, based on that and other things, what would you then advise people to do to boost their immune systems at a time when we're all indoors?
Right. Well, there's quite a few things you can do. First of all, diet is the key. So if you're having a diet high in fried foods, fatty foods, spicy foods, sugary foods, all of these compromise your immune system in one way or another, or weaken the body's defense mechanism, shall we say. So first thing is, when you're fasting, you need to break your fast with something that's wholesome, full of nutrition that's going to benefit you. A lot of the mosques in London, they've stopped serving such spicy curries for iftar. As nice as they are, that's not really what you want in your belly first thing when you haven't eaten for 15 or more hours.
No, I mean, I can't sleep in the morning if I eat too much spicy food.
Exactly, it's going to destroy your insides. As I said, as tasty as they are, it's not the fuel for Ramadan. So, also things like vitamins are important. Vitamin D3. In England, we lack this. We don't get much sun here, so we lack vitamin D3. That's extremely important mineral vitamin for your immune system and immune function. Vitamin C, everyone knows. Vitamin E, zinc. These are all very important, which you can find in tablet form, which you should take either with suhoor or with your iftar, because this will boost your immune system. You know, and with the virus that's going around, obviously people are stressed. When you're stressed, your stress hormones are high and your immunity lowers. We all know when we've been in stressful situations for a period of time, at the end of it, we all come down with a cold.
Yeah.
You know, that's simply your immunity being compromised due to stress levels.
Sure.
So the you know, the advice about the news, personally, I haven't watched the news for a week.
That's probably a good idea.
It's just a narrative. It's a narrative. It's an ongoing soap opera, and unfortunately, it's at the expense of people's lives. And you know, it's you know, it's not constructive. If you're at home, do something constructive with your time. Read, study, improve your physical health, mental health, everything else. There's as everyone said, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to improve ourselves.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And I hope you don't mind. We might use those words just to promote us on social media, these once in a lifetime opportunities to join us on Urban Muslims live show to learn these fantastic tips about your health, fitness, and everything else. No, but it's a very serious issue, but I hope you don't mind me making light of it, because I think it's really important that
Oh, of course.
we keep things light and keep everyone laughing and smiling as much as we can. So coming back to Ilyas and Samina. Samina, what other challenges do you think that people will have that you think that you, or ways in which that you have addressed other people's challenges now when it comes to maintaining their health and fitness?
I think, do you know what, right now we're in such a kind of weird and wonderful time at the same time. You know, being in lockdown, we were in lockdown probably for about a month before Ramadan started, and you know, we were finally getting into the swing of it, kind of, you know, we were, you know, and then Ramadan came in, and obviously that has it's a very different Ramadan for all of us, you know, aspects of not going to the mosque for iftar. And as Sister Khulud said, like doing Zoom iftar or suhoor is such a wonderful idea, because, you know, you can at least get that, you know, that feel that, oh, you know, I'm eating with someone, you know, still have a chat, which is amazing. And I think social media right now is the most important that it's ever been, because as, you know, as there are some people living alone, they feel isolated a lot more now, more so than usual, obviously, because, you know, not being able to leave the house kind of thing. So social media really makes it seem that, you know, there's a community, and, you know, even a show like this is fantastic. You know, the work you guys are doing are amazing. And I think, you know, bringing in kind of exercise into it, I think for me personally, when I think about the word exercise, all I imagine is like, you know, a gym and weights and just kind of, you know, just something quite scary. But I think, as Brother Zishan was saying, exercise, it's not necessarily a gym, it's basic movement, you know. And I think the 30 night challenge is fantastic. Oh, we're definitely gonna sign up to that and try that.
And that ties me in actually quite easily to Zishan and Rimla, who I can see are shuffling a little bit. Maybe they're sitting in a bit of discomfort in one place. So talking about,
maybe they're just getting hungry.
I was about to say, we're getting in the minutes we've done.
yeah, I know iftar is so close now, so I hope this last half hour will help people get through this painful moments.
But I just want to tell you something, guys. We've already had our iftar. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's harsh.
I just had it and then came on, and it was perfect timing.
Well, I hope you enjoyed it. And then, you know what? I mean, it's quite funny actually. And I wanted to talk about. Sorry, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh no, sorry, I was talking about Zishan and Rimla shuffling. It looked like you were probably getting uncomfortable. So it made me think about, what about when we're at home working or in an office working all day and we're sat down all day? You know, our legs hurt, our bums hurt, and all sorts. What are the best ways to tackle that? What should people be doing?
Well, it's little things like my brother was saying. We're not meant to be sat down for too long as human beings. We're supposed to be up and about, right? So I think it's really important that we're just conscious when we're at work that we're not stuck at the screen all day. I think this is the sort of stuff that people talk about in terms of health at work and well-being at work. But just getting up and moving every 20 minutes or so, even looking away from your screen, because just in terms of that short, the vision in terms of your long, what do you call it? Well, long-sighted is not a good thing. So that we know what I mean in terms of being able to look in the distance and being able to focus at a close distance as well. And you just need to look. I also find personally just looking out the window and at nature can help massively in terms of my well-being and stuff. So I think just moving around, and I think at the moment in lockdown it's quite different in the sense that I find, I don't know about you guys, but I lose track of time a lot more quickly, and therefore I find myself sat down for a lot longer than I would be if I were in office. I'd go, right, I need to move every 20 minutes, half an hour, just go and get a glass of water or whatever. But I'm doing that less so I just need to be a bit more conscious of it, I think.
I think I agree, because for me, I mean, every day is a Sunday. I get up in my own sweet time. I love it. But
I wish.
Say again.
I wish it were a Sunday every day.
Ilyas, being someone who's quite active and runs a fitness company, what are the personal challenges you've had with lockdown? What do you do differently now, and what would you advise others to do differently?
Yeah, so when we first went into in our day-to-day lives, you're out most of the day, so you don't get time to actually snack or focus on having something like a bite here or a bite there. But at home, I was working, and then I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do next. So I was like, let me just look in my cupboard. Yeah, let's just have this, have that. So I think the first 2 weeks, I really struggled with controlling what I was eating. And then I thought, at this point, not the right way to go about. So I started limiting the snacks that I was eating. So I'd look forward to it, where I say, if I do 3 or 4 days of consistent exercising, that I can treat myself on the 4th day with something that I like. So I think during lockdown, people can make exercise fun. So something I've started doing is when I go to the kitchen or something, I make sure I jog to the kitchen or I jump to the kitchen just to make it fun. Because you got to remember, those extra few steps that you're taking is exercise. Exercise doesn't necessarily mean you have to jump on a treadmill and run for half an hour. You could jog to the kitchen, just whilst you're cooking something, just keep hopping on the spot, whatever it may be. Just stay active in different ways.
Yeah, no, that's really, really helpful. And Tahir, I've got another silly question, right? So I think a lot of people feel better about themselves when they'll eat or drink something natural and think that they've done their bit. Like, let's say, I had a salad today. That's it. I've had my 5 a day for today. Is that good enough? How often should we be doing it? Or what other natural things can people be doing at home that are easy and accessible for them to keep them healthy?
See, you're only as good as the fuel you put in your body. So if you put salads, complex carbs, wholesome food in your body, you'll get a good result, and you'll be able to exercise, think clearly, and not put on weight, which is obviously an issue for some people as well. Other things to look after yourself, especially in this time. I'm personally treating around 30 people with the coronavirus. Wow. With herbal medicines, and so far so good. They have all improved, some more than others, obviously because of age and other factors, but I would strongly recommend people start looking at herbal medicines, not the type that you'll find in, let's say, certain health food shops in the high street, because their stuff doesn't work. This is why you go there, you think, I'm going to take this, New Year's resolution or Ramadan, a new resolution, if you like. I'm going to eat this, going to take these vitamins. And after 3 or 4 days, this stuff's not working. Why not? Because it's not potent enough, and it's very kind of generically made. So it's not going to work. You need good quality herbal medicine. This will help. Like these patients I'm treating, one lady's completely recovered, and she was in a really quite a bad way. And I said the others are on their way to improvement. One person was at the end of coronavirus when I saw them, and their cough cleared up within 4 days of taking this herbal prescription I made for them. So
and that's really, really interesting. And I think it's really important that people know also to do their research about what works and what doesn't. And of course, to know how to be wary of the witch doctors who might be out there looking to find their patients.
There's a few points. Sorry, brother. A few points. Firstly, I'd like to say herbal medicine isn't in place of allopathic and conventional medicine. It's complementary. So it goes alongside these things. And absolutely beware of witch doctors. Be careful of these people that are, I didn't set out to do what I'm doing in this sense with the coronavirus, but these herbs are working. And ironically, one of the herbs I'm using is a herb that was used in the time of Rasulullah to do with treating coughs, and also is used as an enema to clear out things from the system because of its nature being hot and dry. This is one of the main herbs in the formula I use for asthmatics and also for people with coronavirus. So it's, this stuff, if done properly, it does work, but alongside allopathic medicine, not independent of it.
Yeah, I think that's really important, because I think people think that they're smart enough to choose one or the other. And I think a lot of people, probably including myself, need to learn a lot more about alternative forms of medicine and self-care. And I hope that this might be a starting point for people to start thinking about many different ways in which they can look after themselves and take care of themselves much better. I just want to bring in some comments that we've got from people on social media, some positive comments actually. So Fatima says, good job everyone, it's very interesting and helpful. So thank you everyone for your contributions. Abdul Kadir says, thank you for putting this together. Ida says she loves these sessions, they're so informative. And Fatima also says that we want more of these topics. So again, thanks everyone. Zishan, what do you hope that you will achieve? What does success look like for you for the 30-night challenge?
Right, so the whole aim of the initiative we put into place was to get as many Muslim households active during Ramadan as possible. And a good thing about it, we started off by targeting the Muslim households, but we've had people from all backgrounds getting involved, which is great. So our target is just the way Ramadan is like a spiritual training month for us, for us to carry on for the remaining 11 months. I want people to use the momentum and energy they gain from, inshallah, completing this 30-night challenge as a benchmark for the future months ahead. So you shouldn't just train now and then forget about it until next Ramadan. You should carry it on. And like anything in life, look to better yourself in different areas. So, yeah.
I think from my perspective, thinking more from a sports industry side of things, what I'm really hopeful is that this will show how engaged our community is. So if we target our community in the right ways and we make it relevant to our communities, then we will come. And I think that's what's being shown. We've got over 360 in our Facebook group already. Families that are getting involved there. In the end, we've probably engaged with over 500 different households effectively, because everyone's in lockdown, through this within the first less than 10 days. And that for me is a really positive thing. I think if people keep exercising and moving, ultimately that's the key aim for us. But from a sports industry perspective, what I want them to do, what I want the industry to do and the organisations to do, is invest more in our communities and support our people more, the likes of going to the convention and many others who are out there and are doing good things. Our work with this 30-night challenge, we're just hopeful that if our community responds, which it is at the moment, and I hope more will continue to respond and do those 10 minutes with us, then we'll see the sports industry respond in kind. That would be for me the legacy of this challenge.
Yeah, that would be great. So there you go. You've all heard it. We've got to get more involved in sports. We've got to up our game. Sorry for the pun. And we've got to improve our fitness and get more involved in sports more generally. And I think it'd be good to just get rid of that horrible stereotype. When we talk about particularly South Asian communities, you'll see they're very good at cricket, but they've all got pot bellies. I think we need to get rid of that image. We need to be fitter, we need to look better, and we need to also play more than just cricket. I mean, there's nothing wrong with cricket, but it'll be great to get involved in far more sports. So I've got another positive comment. Hafiza, who I have to admit, she's my older sister. There's a positive mind and certainly helps. Waking up and reflecting on how you feel and it works to adjust the mind. Khulud, what would you say to people who can't be bothered to wake up in the mornings?
Well, setting a routine or a certain ritual on a daily basis is a very important thing to acquaint our mind to a certain way of functioning. It's really important to wake up in the morning and have, for example, even if you're working at an office, not necessarily in quarantine, to have an hour for yourself before you have to run, get dressed, shower, and go to work. This hour, you need to always use it to reflect on what you have done before, what you want to do and accomplish today, and how are you feeling. This will keep you connected with, like your body and your soul and your mind on the same page, so you can go in a mindful day about your day. For example, it's very important to wake up, keep a pen and a paper, or a pen and a book next to you, and write down something called brain dumping journaling, where you just put everything that you're thinking of right now on papers, no filters, nothing. You can jump from a topic to another, just put it all down. Our minds are not made to store information, they're made to generate them. So when you do that, you feel more at ease and lighter. And then after that, you can start feeding your mind better ideas and better thoughts. Also, that is very helpful if you are going through something difficult. So brain dumping all of these things on a paper will make you solidify how you're feeling, and just start asking yourself, going from a place of curiosity, why am I feeling this way? And when you do that, you can come, unlayer all of the things that you're going through, so you can find your peace or your corner of peace during this difficult time. We always talk about how we need to keep calm when something is difficult. So for example, if you're in quarantine living alone, it's a really difficult time for you because literally you're left with your thoughts all the time. So we need to make friends with them. We need to not be scared of how or what our mind is telling us, because we do have ways to control it, and we do have ways to make peace with it and enjoy that time and cultivate that time.
No, thank you. That's really, really helpful. Something I've never thought of doing. I always thought I would try painting, and I tried that once, and my painting was really, really bad, actually. So I gave that
it's so therapeutic, though. You don't have to be amazing at doing something. That's something that I live by. I should not be great at something to try it. If I'm interested in it, that's enough. I go and I give it a shot. I am a terrible painter. I don't even know how to draw a circle without it looking all crazy, but I just do it because for the hell of it. It makes me feel happy. It makes me feel like I do something, so I do it. It's very important to understand that our mind, or the thoughts in our mind, are not facts, they're data.
Yeah.
So if my brain is telling me I can't do this, it doesn't mean it's true. That's one. And on the second level, I need to be friends with this thing here, because if I'm not, it will make my life so much difficult. And if I am, and my life is absolutely disastrous right now, I'll still find the calm inside of me. So yeah.
That's really, really helpful to know. And I think I've learned something there too, that you don't have to be good at something to enjoy it, or to do it to make yourself feel better. And I think that we should always remember to not also be too harsh on ourselves as well.
Yeah, that is very important. So I think this is common, this is culturally common. We're all raised by parents who have made us overachievers, like, you have to be the doctor, you have to be the best at whatever you do. And this puts a lot of strain on our mental health. And even if you're old now and you're like, I don't know, I'm not like this, it is an automatic thought in your mind, because that's how you're raised. So when you get to an age where you can sit down and reflect on these things and realize that, no, I don't need to be the best at something, and I don't need to get something right from the very first time, that I should try. It doesn't mean that I should quit. It means that I should rest right now if I can't do it right now. So, rewiring and changing these automatic thoughts and narratives in our head can make us very happy and healthy people. Again, devoid of what is happening in our lives can make us at peace inside.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. It's really, really useful and very, very helpful. And related to that, if I could come to Samina. Samina, as a psychology graduate and as someone who works in a nursery, you'll obviously interact with young children, I assume. What works, or what good advice would you give to parents with young children on keeping children happy and active and keeping them, you know, in good spirits generally?
So I think at the start, you know, when lockdown initially like happened, I think it was a massive thing for the parents because they were like, oh my gosh, like I've got kids at home with me. How am I supposed to do this? Like, oh my gosh. But I think people don't actually think about the kids as much, but it's actually really, really hard for them because, so I work in a nursery, so I'm mainly with like, you know, 3 to 4 year olds. So for them, they're so used to going in every day, seeing their friends, seeing their teachers, etc. But then when this whole happened, you know, I think, and I'm guilty of this myself, you know, I think a lot of the time, you know, people are like, oh my gosh, I've got kids, what do I do? How am I supposed to handle this? You know, they're going to be just, you know, they're going to be crazy. But I think it's really important to kind of take into account their feelings as well. And that it's really hard for them as well, you know, nursery kids and even school kids. But then equally, it's hard even on their computer and still juggle English, maths, science, etc. with kids. So it's a massive, you know, kind of ball game really, and like juggling so many different aspects around. So I think everyone just kind of needs to take into consideration everyone else and just, you know, take it easy, have fun, chill out, you know, and enjoy the family time as well, because normally in day-to-day life, you know, the main kind of conversation we have will be at the end of the day like, oh, how was your day? To which oh, yeah, you know, it was okay, yeah, it was good, how was yours? You know, it's quite monotone. And now because we just have so much time with each other, it's really, really lovely. And I think when we do come out of lockdown, I actually think we're all really, really going to miss this time. Like I really do. I think we're going to enjoy, like I think we're going to miss the feeling of just being surrounded by family constantly. Obviously, I can understand that sometimes it's a bit overwhelming, but I think when everyone's back to their day-to-day life, I don't know, I really hope we come out of this a lot different as a nation and kind of everyone really as we did kind of going into it, inshallah.
Inshallah. And that brings me on to what things might look like post lockdown. So Tahir, what things that people could do like in their daily routine when it comes to natural foods or natural self-care, what kind of small examples can you give that people could incorporate into their daily lives when things start going back to normal?
I think, you know, if you take it back to your diets, you know, this is an ideal, like we said, once in a lifetime opportunity to change those bad habits. And as a Muslim community, we have appalling dietary habits, unfortunately. You know, the amount of sugar we ingest, how many Muslims have diabetes? Massive amounts. You know, you could walk in a mosque and pretend to be a Hakim Saab and just say, oh, you have diabetes, blood pressure, this, that, and the other. And there's no spiritual ability. It's simply the fact of people's diet and genetics. So first thing, remove white sugar from your diet, first and foremost. You know, brown sugar is okay, but try to start cutting back and removing it altogether, because you're damaging your body, your pancreas, your immune system, and other things, your eyesight, amongst other things. So small things that you can maintain, rather than try to, you know, move a mountain in one go. Start small and maintain it.
And what would be a good alternative to sugar? Could you say honey or dates or anything else? Because I'll be honest, I love sweet stuff, and I've tried to replace all of my sugar with honey. But is that a good thing, or is that equally as harmful?
You see, the issue with honey is it's a medicine. It's not a sweetener, and we've made it a sweetener. What does the Quran say about honey? It doesn't say, oh, it's a sweetener. It says it's a medicine for you. Okay, so what we've done is we've substituted one thing for another thing. But by overuse, we damage ourselves, because honey by nature is very hot.
Yeah.
You know, and if you've got people who've got stomach ulcers or hyperacidity, too much honey, you'll get more pains in your stomach, and then you're running to the Rene and the milk or yogurt or whatever it might be to calm it down. So I'd say cut back your sweet tooth, lessen the amount of sweet. You know, if you're having a lot of spicy food, naturally your taste buds have been, how can we say, compromised a bit, because you're used to that kind of taste. But look, for example, cereals in the morning, you can make it very simple. Porridge, put some darjeeling, cinnamon on top, some fresh fruit, dates, anything like that, soya milk, almond milk, goat's milk if you're brave, and start with that. This way you have everything you need there that will keep you going.
No, that's really, really helpful. Thank you so much. And I think, yeah, I'm the first to admit there's a lot more I can do with my lifestyle and diet and sleeping and exercise. So I don't mind admitting that first if it helps other people to admit it.
Ras Malai is the weakness of many people.
So, and talking about high energy foods, Ilyas, during Ramadan, you're someone who does both nutrition advice as well as physical fitness and personal training. Especially during Ramadan, I guess, because we need that long burst of energy. What kind of foods would you recommend people eat at suhoor?
Yeah, so just to clarify, I'm not a nutritionist, so I'm just giving you advice based on research I've done and what I've spoken to people. But at suhoor time, it's actually essential to eat whole grain foods, because these have a high fiber content, and these help us to, like, it makes our digestive system a little bit slower, so it keeps us full for longer. So things like oats, like porridge, like the brother just said, brown pasta, brown rice, brown bread, these kind of stuff is really good to have before obviously we stop eating, just to get a little bit more energy. And just to touch upon, I had sugar cravings that we hold. So unlike you, chocolates, desserts, I'm a massive fan of them. But like I said earlier, that I motivate myself. So I tell myself, you know, if I don't eat any rubbish basically for 3 or 4 days, I have one day where I kind of treat myself and give myself a pat on the back that, look, you've worked hard, have a little treat, and then start again. Because once you start getting into physical activity, you'll see the more sugary stuff you eat, the more bad you'll actually feel. So you have a chocolate, and as soon as you finish eating, you're like,
After you work out, sometimes, you know, if you know that, okay, today is my treat. So I don't call it cheat day, I call it treat day, just because I feel like cheat just sounds like, oh my God, it's so wrong, I should be doing this. Yeah. But I think it's good to kind of, you know, reward yourself that, okay, I ate clean for, you know, a few days, and now I can reward myself, you know, to a nice treat. But I think, especially even if you do work out on your treat day, because you would have worked out, you know, and then you pick up a chocolate bar and you'll think like, do I really want to undo that half an hour workout that I did? And sometimes, you know, you actually feel like, actually, do you know what? Like, I don't actually want this. So, but that doesn't happen to me very often.
Well, it happens
I wish it did.
Time, actually. I think treat day is every day.
yeah.
So, my wife has to keep the chocolate biscuits away from me. Quite a lot.
You know, becoming a personal trainer was my excuse to not eat chocolate anymore. I think that was the only way out.
Just because now I feel like whenever he goes out and like, if he does pick up like an Oreo milkshake, his friends are like, oh my God, like, what are you doing?
So, you know, there's been so many times we go out, and in my mind, like, before I go, I'm mentally prepared that I'm going in for an Oreo milkshake, and then I'll see like 10 people around me, and I'll stick to water. I'm not going to have anything else.
You know, about 3 Ramadans ago, I actually gave up sugar, like added sugar for Ramadan. So fasting plus not having sugar, because I have a whole set of sweet teeth, forget one tooth. And it was amazing, because, and Brother Daho, you can probably talk to this a lot, that it's just, once you get through that first week and the cravings go, you don't like the taste of this artificial sweetener within you, because your taste buds just change, your physiology, I guess, changes in terms of what you can and can't take. And so natural sugars like banana or whatever else, it's so much better. It tastes so much better. So I don't know, but when it got to Eid, it kind of I blew out and it was wrong. But
I had
you
the
have
same
to keep-
experience
you have to keep
as
going.
Rimla.
Sorry, yeah, go on, Khulud. And I want to ask Khulud a question about this as well.
Yeah, I had the same experience as Rimla. I think a couple of Ramadans ago, I decided to just go completely off sugar. And after I went through like the first 3 days, you feel like you're going down with the flu or something. It's completely like, it's so difficult. But then after that, you realize that you've been living your whole life as an addict without really knowing. We are addicted to sugar. We are. It's so crazy. After the first 3 days, my energy levels peaked. I was able to concentrate more. I was able to just have more mental and emotional clarity, even because I felt like I had energy and my body was like clean. So and just to tie this up, what we put in our body is really, really important because it also affects our mental status. Our guts form a huge element in our in how we feel, because our intestines also produce serotonin, which is the happiness hormone. So if we're taking good care of our body, and I'm pretty sure everyone has ever, everyone has experienced it before. If you're bloated, if you're heavy, if you haven't, if you're constipated, you will feel mentally and emotionally uncomfortable. It will take a toll on your mental health. And if you're on a days where you're like eating healthy and everything is fine, you feel light, you feel more comfortable, able to enjoy your time, and you feel more clear in your mind. So food is a very important element of how we take care of not just our body, also our mental health.
Sure. And the question I wanted to ask you actually was almost, I guess, to this idea of some sort of addiction, but also some people also might feel that eating junk food or unhealthy food, or just a lot of food generally, actually makes them feel better for a short time until they look in the mirror or stand on the scales. What would you say to them if they want to
that is a physical manifestation of someone who does not feel good on the inside. When I tend to overeat, or when I think that this specific type of food is let's say greasy, heavy types of food are what make me comfortable right now, our comfort foods. These usually tend to be associated with some hormonal imbalance. For example, I can give an example about myself. Ladies in general, when they're going through that time of the month where it's a bit more hormonal than usual, we tend to crave certain types of food because our body's trying to compensate for the changes. So when someone who on a regular tends to like to stuff their face with greasy foods or likes to overeat, in general, it means it can indicate that this person is just trying to cope with food instead of treating it as a source of nutrition.
I think this is really, really helpful to understand, because I think it's really easy, and I think we've all done it, to be honest, where we're feeling a bit down and you think, right, I just want to eat like a big fat steak, or
exactly. It's human nature. I mean, as I was saying, when I experienced like the no sugar thing, it was amazing. I was like, I was never ever go back to having sugars, but like 3 days down the line, I was stuffing my face with cake because we're humans. We can't do anything that, if my body is asking me to do that, I'll just do it. It's fine. We should not feel guilty about eating as well. It's okay.
Rimla, I'm not going to feel guilty about eating or you laughing at me talking about my food habits. And I know that Rimla's probably going to tell me a lot now. Every time
I'm going to hear about this for a long time to come.
So, okay, we've got 5 more minutes left. I think it'd be really, really good to tell our viewers how people can more engage you all on social media and how we can find you and any other work you think that you'll be doing in the future. So I'll start with Ilyas. Ilyas, can you remind everyone where they can find information about your program and what they could do to join in? And then we'll go straight to Zishan and Rimla again.
Yeah, sure. So if you go onto my social media, which is @GainsWithGavinci, so I think if you can see the name that I'm tagged with, Gains with Gavinci, if you just type that in on Instagram, Facebook, you'll find me there, and give us a follow.
and we've got a couples workout every Sunday. So we kind of plan to do it so that we're done kind of 10-15 minutes before iftar. So it's every Sunday, and every week obviously it changes because the iftar time changes.
So tomorrow at 7.
Quick kind of 15 minutes or so, just kind of, you know, because that last half an hour before iftar time is the hardest. So it's just a quick one, get your, you know, body moving so that you can really appreciate the iftar a lot more.
Sure. Thank you. And Zishan and Rimla, again, just to remind everyone how they can get in touch with Zama Fit,
Yeah,
how
sure.
they can be engaged, and what you might be doing in the future.
Yeah, so yeah, we've got a YouTube channel. So if you just search for Zama Fit, so again, it's ZAMMA space FIT. So we've got every night, the night's challenge will be up there. So tonight was night 9, so following 21 days will be up there. We've also got a Facebook group. Again, if you search for Zama Fit, you know, alhamdulillah, we've got, I think, about 360 members so far. So it's doing really well. So please join our Facebook group. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah,
After tonight, you'll have 362.
Yay!
Thank you.
And this is the beauty of it, right? So it's all about the community coming together, and we want those like yourselves who are used to moving. Hayan, you may be excluded. I'm only joking. It's because I know Hayan, that's why I can say this. But no, seriously, you know, you guys are used to moving, but there'll be people out there that are not, and it just goes back to what Khulud was saying earlier on about not having to be brilliant at everything. And you know, there'll be people that are really, you know, concerned about their ability to actually do this session, and we were just saying, just try it, don't knock it until you've tried it, see what your body can do, see if you get surprised by it. And for those who are used to training in their home, you know, if you have people in the home that are just not used to moving and keeping active, get them doing it with you, like those couples workouts. So just keep moving together. It's a community feel.
Thank you. And Khulud, moving on to you, how can people find helpful resources or get in touch with you or other colleagues who are doing good work to advise people on their health and well-being?
Well, I'm available mainly on Instagram. It's Khulud, it's Khalil Khulud. I usually just post things that are relevant to me and some different perspectives about life and contemplations. But if people need to have some resources about mental health, about how to navigate things like Ramadan, or generally female mental health issues, they can go on Urban Muslim's blogs. I'm writing for them. We usually tackle women's issues and mental health stuff, and they have an amazing lineup of other writers as well who tackle other and more interesting stuff as well.
Thank you so much. And that brings me nicely onto Tahir, who also has written an article for Urban Muslims, which I think all of which will be posted up on the live feed as well. Tahir, how can people get in touch with you and find other resources that they might find helpful with natural self-care?
First thing is, if people are interested in herbal medicines or vitamins, minerals, that type of thing, a good place to look is a website called PubMed. It's a big umbrella organization, if you like, and there's a lot of published papers that have, you know, very good information about health products, this, that, and the other. So that's a good place to look that is bona fide, rather than look at, like you was talking earlier about the witch doctor websites that say we have a cure for this and a cure for that. Those are the worst people to go and see. So go on PubMed, or there's another site called NCBI. This is also full of research papers. So look there for those type of things. And regarding myself, you can find me on my email address, which is tahirali1@hotmail.com, or alternately on Facebook, although I rarely go on there. So the email is probably best if anyone has questions they'd like to ask me. And when I have time, I will promise to answer.
Thank you so much. And thanks again to everyone for your time. So there you've had it. You've heard from everyone. Stay fit, join the Zama Fit 30 Night Challenge, join Gains with Gavinci and Samina and Ilyas doing their couples challenges and workouts on Sundays, as well as their general content. Follow them all on social media. Khulud's on Instagram, Stay healthy, stay happy, and get in touch with Tahir if you need some more herbal medicines. And that's it from me. Thank you so much again, everyone. And thank you also to Amir, Mustafa, Masuma, Sarah, and Usman in the background who make all of this magic happen.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful iftar. And Khalid, have a wonderful suhoor.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, Diane.
Thank you, guys. Take care.